My home isn't just a house. It's a living tapestry woven from the threads of centuries. Built in the 1800s, its weathered walls have stood witness to history's grand sweep, bearing silent scars from 2 world wars and countless untold stories. But within its creaking floorboards and dusty attic corners, whispers of another kind linger, whispers of lives past and perhaps some unresolved. 2 young souls, sons of a former owner, cast a poignant shadow over this haven. Both, tragically, chose to depart this world too soon, leaving behind an air of melancholy that seems to permeate the air. It's not a suffocating darkness, mind you, but a bittersweet echo, a whisper in the creaking stairs at dusk. My animal companions, sensitive to these unseen currents, often act as unwitting barometers. My dog, with a twitch of his ears and a searching gaze, follows unseen presences around corners. My parrots, normally jovial squawkers, fall silent, heads cocked and feathers ruffled, as if listening to an unspoken conversation. There's a curious energy to this unused floor, the one I traverse each night on my way to my attic haven. The motion-activated light, an otherwise reliable sentinel, occasionally flickers to life in the dead of night, casting fleeting shadows on the dusty portraits of forgotten ancestors. These are not the jittery malfunctions of faulty wiring, but deliberate flickers, like winks from the unseen. Then there are the cold spots, those pockets of chill that defy the laws of physics, clinging to corners and doorways long after the heating has warmed the house. Are they remnants of lingering sorrow, whispers of unfinished business, or perhaps simply the touch of a spectral hand seeking a moment of connection across the divide? Living in this old house is an experience unlike any other. It's a constant dialogue with the past, a dance with the shadows, a tapestry woven from whispers and unexplained chills. It's not a tale of terror, but one of bittersweet intrigue, a story etched in the very timbers of the house itself. It's a reminder that our homes are more than just bricks and mortar. They are repositories of memory, whispering tales of the lives that have passed through their doors. And here, in this house that has survived wars and weathered time, I listen. I listen to the creaks, the whispers, the flickers of light, and through them, I glimpse the lives that came before, their stories becoming threads in the ongoing tapestry of this remarkable old home. My 5-year residence in that Victorian charmer wasn't haunted in the conventional sense. No moaning specters, no slamming doors, just inconvenience. Inconvenience of the socks mysteriously migrating to the freezer variety. But the most persistent, and frankly infuriating, quirk revolved around timepieces. This spectral entity, apparently, had a bone to pick with clocks. Antique cuckoo clocks, humming through decades, would suddenly fall silent in mid-hoot. Brand new wall clocks, purring with fresh batteries, would devour them like tic-tacs. My trusty wristwatch, tucked securely under my pillow at night, would greet me in the morning face down on the floor, its crystal a spiderweb of cracks. But the piece de resistance, the crowning act of chronophobic vandalism, was the Kit Kat clock. Imagine a grinning candy bar, perpetually stuck at 3 o'clock, adorning your kitchen wall. A Christmas gift, mind you. And then, one sunny afternoon, while I hummed along to the radio, a flash of movement in the corner of my eye. The cat, usually the picture of feline nonchalance, was a furred projectile streaking across the room. I turned, just in time to see the Kit Kat clock, no longer grinning, lying in shattered pieces on the floor. The cat, wide-eyed and twitchy, seemed to shrug apologetically. Of course, the rational side of my brain offered explanations. Faulty wiring, clumsy cats, rogue dust bunnies. But the sheer consistency, the almost playful defiance of it all, whispered of something more. A mischievous resident spirit, perhaps with a penchant for messing with time, not to frighten, but to annoy. Living with this quirky haunt was like sharing a flat with a mischievous teenager. You learn to lock away your valuables, check the oven twice, and accept that clocks simply weren't welcome guests in your home. In the end, it wasn't fear that filled me, but a grudging amusement. This unseen housemate, with their chaotic brand of clock bashing, added a touch of the absurd to my everyday life. A reminder that sometimes the scariest things aren't ghosts, but the inexplicable mischief of the unknown. The shadows stretched long and eerie in the dimly lit corners of my childhood bedroom. I was young, perhaps 9 or 10, nestled into the familiar warmth of my bed when a sense of unease crept in. My eyes, adjusting to the darkness, darted towards the door, usually an unbreachable barrier between my haven and the rest of the house. It stood open, a stark betrayal of routine. In that sprawling Victorian behemoth, my father and I inhabited 5 floors of creaking floorboards and whispered histories. Unexplained events were as ingrained in the fabric of the house as its dusty tapestries and chipped porcelain. Footsteps echoed in empty corridors. Disembodied voices murmured in the dead of night. But this stood apart. A figure, immense and dark, coalesced at the foot of my bed. Towering at least 7 feet, it was a monstrosity of shadow, a sentient stain against the pale sheets. As my heart hammered against my ribs, I caught its gaze, or the absence of it. Before it simply flowed. It melded into the wooden floorboards, swallowed by the very fabric of the house, just as the bedroom door slammed shut with a resounding boom. The rest of the night was a blur of choked sobs and whispered prayers. Morning, thankfully, brought the golden sunrise and the calming presence of my father. Yet the echo of the night lingered, a raw knot of fear in my stomach. When I hesitantly questioned him about his presence in my room, his denial came swift and resolute. My father, a man as grounded as the oak trees lining the street, wasn't one for playful frights. The shadow at the foot of my bed remains a chilling, unresolved fragment of my childhood. Was it a figment of a young mind, fueled by the whispers of the old house? Or did something ancient and unseen brush against the veil that separates our world from the unknown? Regardless, it serves as a potent reminder of the mysteries that lurk just beyond the edge of our vision, of the unseen forces that may dance in the shadows of even the most familiar places. In the hushed solitude of upstate New York, my uncle's sprawling Victorian mansion held a whisper of the past. Local lore painted it as haunted, the lingering resentment of a stableman and his maid, cheated of their promised inheritance. We, family and friends, treated it with a playful skepticism, attributing creaks and groans to the house's venerable age. Yet a kernel of mystery remained, nestled behind playful jests. One crisp autumn night, my uncle's friend, along with her sister, found themselves guests in the old mansion. In the hushed hours before dawn, the friend awoke to a sight that sent chills down her spine. A woman, clad in attire reminiscent of a bygone era, glided down the stairs, carrying a stack of fresh towels. The spectral maid, a figment of local legend become flesh, or rather phantom, moved with unsettling grace. Mesmerized and slightly impressed by my uncle's supposed domestic efficiency, the friend drifted back to sleep. Morning painted the house in a different light, dispelling the shadows that birth spectral visions. Downstairs, the friend, still under the spell of the phantom maid, inquired about the breakfast service. The question hung heavy in the air, met with blank stares from my uncle and his friend. Confusion morphed into shock as she described the industrious maid, the gleaming towels, and the aroma of percolating coffee. With a chuckle, my uncle led her to the living room, his finger lingering on an antique portrait. The canvas stared back, revealing a woman eerily similar to the night's apparition. That, my uncle explained, his voice dropping a notch, is my great-great-aunt Amelia, the maid you met last night, dead for 100 years. The echo of his words lingered long after the laughter subsided. The playful ghost story had taken on a chilling tangibility, a brush with the unseen that left a palpable trace in the crisp autumn air. It was a reminder that some houses hold more than memories, whispers of the past clinging to dusty corners, refusing to fade into the tapestry of time. My uncle's mansion, once a canvas for playful jokes, now stood as a testament to the enduring enigma of the unknown, its shadows forever tinged with the memory of the phantom maid. In the sprawling embrace of a 5-bedroom Victorian, 6 young souls carved out their lives. My partner and I, nestled in our corner like 2 peas in a pod, were as entwined as the ivy clinging to the aged brick. But within this haven, shadows danced beyond the reach of flickering bedside lamps. It was in my 20s, amidst the careless bliss of youth, that a chill crept into the air. Not the sharp bite of winter, but something more subtle, more unsettling. A presence, unseen but keenly felt, took root in the corner of our room. While my partner slumbered peacefully, oblivious to the tremor in my soul, I saw it. Not with my eyes, not truly, but with a primal awareness that defied logic. It wasn't a form, not a silhouette against the moonlight. It was a pressure, a weight in the fabric of the room, an unwelcome guest whispering in the silence. I squeezed my eyes shut, willing it away with the fierce desperation of a child against a monster under the bed. But when I dared to peek again, the weight had shifted, a phantom whisper brushing against my ear near the bedside. Fear, cold and clammy, snaked its way down my spine. I shut my eyes tight, a mantra against the unseen, until a blessed wave of relief washed over me. Opening them, I found only the familiar dance of dust motes in the moonlight, the rhythm of my partner's peaceful breath. Yet, the encounter clung to me like cobwebs in a forgotten corner. Then, on the creaking stairs, another glimpse, a fleeting brush of the unseen, a shiver across my skin. It lasted only a breath, a whisper in the darkness before disappearing into the labyrinthine folds of the old house. Though rational explanations danced at the edges of my mind, the experience lingered, a seed of unease blooming in the fertile soil of the unknown. The old house, once a haven of laughter and shared dreams, became a canvas for whispered tales of the past, its shadows forever tinged with the memory of the unseen presence.